welcome back to Cigar Time, your ever so friendly show all about premium cigars. And don't forget, we're now an hour long. Set your DVRs to record from 7 to 8. You'll get both Cigar Time, which is what you're about to watch now, and right after Cigar Time will come our outlet show, Cigar Time Outlet Show. So 7 to 8, new times, same station, Channel 4, or whatever it is on your satellite or cable.
Same bat channel.
Same bat channel, absolutely. Well, we're very pleased to have Miguel back. Those who you watched last week, previous week, or whatever it was. Remember Miguel? We've tried to get him out of his shell a little bit. He's a little shy, so, I tried to encourage him to be, a little bit more open.
Yeah.
And I've tried to tell him that, there's 100,000 eyeballs staring at you right now, so just be calm and try not to, shrink back into your shell.
Yes, sir.
He's going to do his best.
I'm going to try.
And today we're going to be smoking and talking about Blind Man's Bluff and some of the other products from the same company. So I guess we can light up.
Yes, sir. After you, sir.
No, go ahead.
Oh, you're such a gentleman.
Oh, wow, what gentleman.
My goodness.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Miguel, you're still late. No, that's perfectly fine. We have all day. Take your time.
Who needs this? Can't get it any bigger.
Be helpful.
That's a shame. Say you're out creamy, right? Creamy.
Can't believe I did that.
What are you doing?
Don't even ask.
Oh, you did the wrong hand. It happens. It happens.
You ain't a professional.
I wasn't
cigar smoker
looking.
unless you've
I was
done
holding
that.
it wrong, and I figured I'd give you something to talk about.
Zoom in on that.
I didn't
when
even
you
really
edit.
charge, so it's okay.
I lit one without.
No, it has a really nice.
I did that
taste to
too.
it.
At least
Slight-
you didn't put the lid
Slightly
in.
charged. No, I didn't put the. I have
Slightly
actually
charged.
never done that.
I've done that, and
I've lit the wrong end
One of the funnest things
occasionally,
ever.
or attempted to light the wrong end, but not.
Oh,
recently.
that's too funny.
Yeah, that's all.
That's like Scott and I
Only been doing this for close to 60 years now.
we tried to light the cigar without cutting the end.
Yeah, well, that
Oh, yeah, that happens.
happened.
The jaw's kind of tight when you do
Yeah.
that.
Kind of.
Very, very tight.
I was walking my dog and I put it in my mouth and tried to light it. I'm like, what the hell?
All right, Miguel, what are we smoking today?
We are smoking a Blind Man's Bluff, Connecticut by Caldwell Cigars.
Best of the three.
Phenomenal. Yeah, I would say 100%. Cream bomb, very tasty, made in Honduras, Connecticut wrapper, very, very smooth, very creamy, great morning cigar. I haven't smoked this in a while because it's a Connecticut, and a lot of people have like, oh, Connecticut, I don't smoke Connecticut, I don't smoke it. This is amazing. It's phenomenal, it's tasty.
Is this an Ecuadorian Connecticut or a Connecticut Connecticut?
It's an
Yeah,
Ecuadorian
it looks
Connecticut.
Ecuadorian. It's darker than
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's creamier than Connecticut.
Yeah. Sometimes Connecticut's tend to be a little bit more
Grassy.
Did you
grassy.
Just,
Yeah.
Did you just go over the blend?
No, I didn't go over the blend.
Oh, okay, I thought I'm in my own world, but go ahead, say it and then I'll.
So it's
comment
Honduran.
on it.
The wrapper is Connecticut, as I said. The binder and the filler is cigars. That's what I'm gonna start saying now, because 65 to 75% of your cigar's flavor is all your wrapper. So the only important thing is your wrapper. Not necessarily true, but okay.
There's debate over that. What I was going to say, because you didn't tell us what the rest of the cigar was, is I looked at the blend on this cigar like 2 or 3 years ago, and there's nothing about this cigar I should like, but I love it.
Yeah, you don't like Honduran cigars.
It's Honduran.
It's not that I'm not a big fan of Ecuadorian Connecticut wrappers for the most part, and whatever the heck else is in the blend. We could get this. I don't think it's Nicaraguan.
What is the blend? So the binder and the filler, I need to come to my notes because I represent several brands of tobacco, as you guys know, as I stated last week.
Is this made in Reyes Cubano?
No, this is made in the Camacho factory
Oh, the Camacho.
in Honduras. We've been there.
Oh, Henderson don't make this one?
No, Henderson does not make this one. Henderson makes the Blind Man's Bluff Maduro. The Habano and the Connecticut are made in Honduras in the Camacho factory. The Maduro's made it by Henderson in the Dominican Republic. And the makeup on this bad boy, the Connecticut Shade, it's a mild to medium Honduran Connecticut shade, Ecuadorian wrapper, Honduran, literally on the binder
Inside.
and the filler. Yep,
Yeah.
on the guts.
Yeah, so you don't like it?
I'm not a huge fan of it. There's nothing about the cigar I should like, but it works perfectly for
I
me.
know, I'm not a Honduran fan either. It tastes
used to
too,
be.
they taste too earthy, too much like dirt.
But what do you get on this one?
I don't get that on this.
You know what I got first puff? Honestly, it reminded me of butterscotch, right off the bat.
This guy.
With me, it's charred butterscotch.
Oh,
Charged butter.
Slightly charred butter.
I guess so, when you wipe the raw
Just
end.
slightly charred. But it adds some flavor to it. Nice.
Cream and white pepper.
I'm with you. Cream and white pepper, 100%. It comes in 3 different vitolas, which means size: Robusto, traditional Robusto 5x50, a Toro, and a 6x60 Magnum.
They get rid of the Churchill?
They made they had 2 other sizes. They had a Churchill, and I believe a Corona, and it was just a small run. But their flagship sizes are the Robusto, the Toro, and the 660. And it does come in 3 other wrappers, as I said before: the Connecticut, the Habano, and the Maduro.
The 3 wrappers.
I think what most people probably don't know, and Paul, you would remember, there was a time, back in the 90s, when there were a lot more cigars as a percentage of the whole were made in Honduras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Much more.
Yeah, much more. And I believe at one time there were more cigars made in Honduras than there were in Nicaragua.
In the aftermath of the revolution,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And I think Honduran cigars with certain manufacturers are making a big resurgence.
Wasn't Padron in Honduras for a while? Wasn't Padron in Honduras for a while?
Well,
Maybe
no,
very early on.
no, that's a long story, but the boxes were marked Honduras for a specific reason. But the tobacco, I believe, always came from Nicaragua.
There should be a standard.
Except for the wrapper.
There should be a standard like they have with wine. Like a cigar is, right now a cigar is based, this is where it's made.
Yeah.
Like you could have a Nicaraguan Puro
Yeah.
made in Honduras and it's a Honduran cigar.
They use all Nicaraguan tobacco.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So there should be a standard.
but there isn't.
No.
They also have a bunch of other cigars in their in the brand. One of my personal favorites is the Eastern Standard. Very creamy, very tasty. One of the best cigars I think he makes.
Yeah.
That always gets top 25.
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
Cigar
it-
Aficionado.
Yeah, but I'm not sure about that one. But I know it's one of my favorites. It's extremely creamy. It's a dark Connecticut, so it's a more mild to medium. It's not your traditional Connecticut. Then you have the King is Dead, which won 19th Cigar of the Year in Cigar Aficionado, I believe maybe 6 or 5 years ago. I don't remember what year. And then they have the Long Live the King, which is a Corojo wrapper. That cigar sells like crazy, very tasty. And then the Long Live the King Maduro comes in 4 different sizes. He has a lot of cigars and he has a lot of different options for people to not get bored and try a little bit of everything. You have Lazar, you have
Anastasia.
Savages.
He does come with an
Anastasia.
interesting name.
Yeah, Midnight Express,
Yeah.
which is a Brazilian Ariparaga
Anastasia.
rapper. Anastasia. He has the Eastern Standard Sungrown. Yeah, he has a lot in his book.
What about, would you put Tony's stuff under them? Caldwell?
So yes, 100%. So Tony Bellato, he makes La Barba Red, La Barba Purple, and La Barba Ricochet, and La Barba Mexiso. He has 4 different cigars in his lineup. Mexiso is the one with the blue band.
I like his logo. Those
Oh.
are my bands. It's a
You
straight
mean the
razor.
straight
It's
razor?
a straight razor, yeah. And it's-
Speaking of logos,
Tony's
is
cool.
there a story behind this particular guy
This
on the
haunting,
blind
haunted.
Yeah.
So what I would say is this: Rob is huge into art, and the owner of Caldwell Cigars, Robert Caldwell, he's huge into art. And if I'm not mistaken, he basically, before he comes out with a cigar, he comes out with the art behind the cigar, and then he makes the blend according to the artwork that he uses.
Is he from the Wynwood area?
Yeah.
In Miami?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
he had a line for a while
Wynwood.
called Wynwood.
That Camacho
For
and
Camacho.
Christian used to collaborate with him.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it wasn't Camacho, it was
Chris
CLE.
Christian, yeah, with
CLE,
CLE, yeah.
when they first came out.
And he also, we talked about this last week briefly with the Lost and Found. He
Yeah.
donates a lot of the proceeds from that to charities.
Yeah,
Oh.
100%.
The whole, I think the whole lost and found idea is great. Buying up little bits of stuff from companies that didn't know what to do with it.
Yep.
Some of those cigars are fantastic.
Yep.
It's a collaboration between him, Jack Sears, and Tony Bellato.
Yep.
I think Tony runs it, Robert, but he finds
Finds
the
it.
blends, and then
Yeah.
Jax does all the marketing behind it.
Exactly. Man, this is great. I'm gonna interview you guys. You guys know this. This is
It's our
amazing.
business.
Yeah, 100%.
We don't know it after all these years. Who does?
Mm-hmm. This is good. This is real tasty.
So
I wouldn't call
these
this
days-
overly mild.
No, it's
No,
like
it's
a
got a lot
mild
of
to
flavor.
yeah, mild to medium.
Well, it has a lot of flavor, you're right. What do these cigars retail for?
So these retail for, if I'm not mistaken, let me double check, because when it comes to pricing, a lot of our manufacturers
It's like
change the pricing.
It's
or
like $8 for a Robusto, something like that.
I'll give you the exact number so you guys know. So excuse me as I look into my phone.
We'll have a musical interlude at this point.
Should we do a
Please.
first impressions?
Ooh, first
Yeah, we
impressions,
can,
that sounds
we can
good.
actually do first impression. Go ahead, Scott, please do it.
Why me?
Because you don't like Honduran,
You
and I have a
mentioned it.
funny feeling you do like this one.
Oh, I love this cigar. I've smoked many of them. At first, the first light of a cigar is, for some reason, is usually one of my favorites. And I did. I got that originally very sweet, almost butterscotch, maybe caramel, in that neighborhood. Very smooth, and yes, it is very, very creamy.
Paul?
Very creamy, absolutely. I love the way it burns. Straight burn line, good
Yeah.
tight ash. It's,
What's up,
construction is excellent. Smoke production is fantastic.
Yeah, easy
And
draw.
cream, it's just as it was on the first puff, cream and white pepper all the way. With a tiny hint of something citrusy.
Wow, fancy.
Rob?
I'm not getting the citrusy yet.
Well, you're not as far in. right?
Yeah, he's halfway done.
I know.
He's a power hitter.
Paul's
Oh,
burning the label.
You are a power hitter, but I think you almost need to treat this cigar like if it was a Lancero, or some people call it Lancicero.
Who does
Who
that?
does that?
That's the first time I
Guy
heard
at
that.
the stores calls it Lancicero.
Yeah, and he
But you
especially
have to
likes the
almost-
Olivias.
Yeah. You have to really finesse this cigar, because I think if you burn through it too fast, it gets sour.
It gets real hot and bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's so good that
but
you
if you
keep
take
going.
your time with it, the cream dominates.
I'm getting everything that you guys said. Definitely the pepper on the front of the tongue and everything, and the creaminess. I'm also getting a grassy taste. I don't know. I don't know what that. It's probably from the Honduran Tobacco, but I'm definitely getting an earthy, grassy taste to it. Or that could be from the wrapper. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, Ecuadorian Connecticut tends to be less grassy than
Yeah,
Connecticut.
yeah.
I'm getting a grassy taste.
I'm getting a nice sweet finish on
Yes.
Yeah.
it. Really nice.
Butterscotchy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, this is almost, if I close my eyes, it's almost like a really good Maduro. But it's not.
'Cause
From the
it's
finish.
sweet.
From the sweet finish, yeah, from the finish.
The price on the Robusto is $8.20.
No, that's not bad.
The Toro is $9.20, and the Magnum is $10.20.
Not
It's
bad.
right in the zone.
Yeah,
Cigar.
you're right there.
It really coats your whole palate too.
Yeah.
Like my tongue almost has this smooth feeling, like I just drank milk or something.
Like a
that
silky.
creaminess. Yeah,
Yeah.
silky. That's a great word for it. Yes.
I'm definitely getting the quintessential Honduran taste, though.
I'm not.
The
Oh, yeah.
quintessential.
I am.
That's interesting. Quintessential.
Yeah, this is
Earthy.
very tasty.
It is. I'm getting.
Dirt then.
Yeah. Well, no grass.
This is real
That's
good.
earth.
Pro.
You guys are enjoying it because you guys just stopped talking. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, you
I'm
know.
waiting for you to say something.
You know, I'm in all too. I'm like, man, I gotta smoke. I have to have the cigar in the rotation again. Yeah, it's
How
very
many do
tasty.
you smoke a day?
I smoke a good amount of cigars.
Not as
Keep it
good as
lightweight.
How many do you enjoy a day?
So usually when you smoke
Like
cigar,
first cigar in the morning or the last cigar at night?
so that's, I would say the last cigar I barely taste because I'm always smoking.
Yeah.
But I would say the first cigar and the third cigar, ironically. Third cigar I always, because sometimes I choose like my third cigar. I'll be like, you know what, I need something strong or something different, something that's gonna wow me. So, yeah. But
What do you smoke? You don't have to answer this. if you
No,
don't
no.
want. What do you smoke when you're not smoking one of your brands?
What do I? So I like to smoke new stuff. Like if there's something new that another brand that I don't represent came out with, I'll support the brand. I'll try the new cigars. Sometimes I'll smoke some legacy brands. It's ironically enough, I'll smoke anything. Anything that has to do with the brands I don't rep, because I like to see what's out there. I want to see what they're doing with the cigar. Yeah, I want to see the competition. I want to see what they're doing different, or what's different from what's the same that I kind of taste with the cigars I represent. It's a little bit of mixture. It's a mixture. I'm always buying tobacco.
You have to.
Yeah, I love cigars. So it's like I'm not just gonna I do have a lot of options because I do represent several brands. So the good thing about that is that I get to choose. I can do one day Caldwell. I could do one day Foundation, one whole day Elysione, and just Crown Heads and Aladino and all the other brands that I talked to about last week, and I don't get bored.
Aladino's a brand that really flies under the radar. And he
Yeah.
makes fantastic stuff. When I first started smoking those, I'm like, all right, now I knew the genius was behind the original brand.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
It shows.
The
Yeah.
the Aladino Cameroon is fantastic.
Yeah. Great smoke.
Fantastic
What
cigar.
are they really?
Did
Where's
anybody
the price
retro
range
know
on
this?
those?
They're up there.
Oh, yeah.
I
I
have
was
not.
gonna say, I thought they were.
They're 10 and up.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's very
And they're
tasty.
thinner ring gauges too.
Yes.
So tell us more about some of the products this company makes.
So yeah, one of their biggest sellers are the Blind Man's Bluff and
Right.
all three wrappers, and Long Live the King. Also, Long Live the King Maduro. The Eastern Standard sells really well. It's funny because the Eastern Standard, there's stores that just buy the Eastern Standard because, like on a weekly basis, because they get a turnaround that's insane. Yeah, he has a lot to offer, and he has basically every country that makes tobacco almost in his cigars. You have Honduran, you got Dominican, and there's some blends, some cigars that even have Nicaraguan in it. So he tries to offer a little bit of everything. And if I'm not mistaken, the first time that I talked to Robert Caldwell, when he was talking about his blends, he created the King is Dead so you could smoke that first, and then right after that, you could smoke the Long Live the King. And it complements each other. So it's like having like the dinner and then the dessert. So the guy's a genius when it comes to tobacco, and I've sat with Rob a bunch of times, and I've been to DR with him. We actually been to Germany together, and he's really into cigars.
Dortmund?
No, we weren't in Dortmund. No, we went to Berlin.
Oh, okay.
He had a bunch of events with a lot of tobacco shops in Berlin.
I
yeah.
imagine you stood out a little bit in Berlin.
Oh, 100%. He did too. He's like 6'7" or something.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, he's a big
gonna
guy.
sell-
Yeah, but Rob.
He doesn't have any buttons for his shirt.
Oh yeah, well yeah, you know why, right? Because he doesn't like to. The effort of going from here to up is too much for him. So he's
That
like,
doesn't
you know what?
surprise me.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like
That's too much. Hello.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Let me unbutton one right there. That's for you, Rob.
The Eastern, the Eastern Standard, I would put that up against most of the Davidoff. I think it has a very similar flavor, and it's
100%.
a $12 cigar.
Yep. It's a phenomenal
really
cigar.
good. I know what I wanted to ask. Do they still? Does Boofy still make an appearance on the bands every once in a while?
I don't know if he does anymore.
Talking
but-
about Matt Booth.
Matt Booth. I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm not really sure about that one, but I know they had a great working relationship, and I think just Matt Booth went and wanted to do his own thing, which is totally understandable. They're still good friends. There's a lot of love between them, and I'm sure in the pipeline there's going to be something that's going to be another collaboration.
They mess with each other at the.
Oh,
they're very good friends, I think.
Yeah, no, they are.
And they would mess with each other, and I think one of the things Caldwell did, if you're familiar with the band on the Eastern Standard, it's kind of like a Freud kind of figure with a.
Yep.
And they took Matt Booth's image and put that on like
band.
one cigar per box.
I think it was like 10 cigars.
Was it 10?
It was 10 cigars.
Oh,
and
it was
random.
middle row.
It was the middle row.
Yeah.
Did-
I have one of those.
Didn't Matt Booth put Robert Caldwell's picture on toilet paper or something?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and
Oh,
then-
it was the toilet. The what do you call those stupid things that are in the soap in the bottom of the
Oh, the urinal.
urinal
Yeah.
cage.
Yeah.
Urinal cage.
Yeah,
Yeah, that one, I think Matt Booth did that one. Yeah, they joke around a lot. These guys are they're good people, man. They really think outside of the box. And the thing about Caldwell is that Robert Caldwell is not your traditional like cigar maker.
Nope.
He's out of the box. He's different. He doesn't have a background in tobacco. Like his father wasn't a master blender for a legacy brand. He's just like, he loves cigars, and he said, I'm gonna come out with a brand and I'm gonna market it the way I like, marketing my cigars, and they took off.
How long have you been in business?
And with Caldwell, with his own brand, I think he's been in business for 7 years maybe?
Yeah.
7 years.
Seems like you've been around for a while.
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah. Caldwell always has his hand on tobacco, and I've sat with him, and we've been in the car together, and he's very into like cigars. Like, he smokes like crazy. He has a little cigar called the Manzanita, which is a 42 by 4,
Quick hit.
and those cigars are extraordinary. That's like the perfect dog walker. He makes them in 3 different cigars: the Eastern Standard, the King is Dead, and the Long Live the King.
And
Just
what do you call it? What's this thing?
Manzanita, which is apple.
Little apple.
A little apple, Manzanita. He actually made it, ironically enough, I'll give you a fun fact. He made it for Nat Sherman. Because, Nat Sherman was in New York City and Big Apple. So he made a Manzanita. And then he got, like, people were going crazy over it. And then he said, you know what, I'm just going to sell it to everyone. And that cigar, that size, it's phenomenal.
It's a great size.
It's a great size. If you don't have enough time to smoke a cigar, and you're walking your dog, and I call it the little dog walkers, or you have a lunch break and you want to take a 30-minute cigar smoke after eating something, perfect.
Yeah.
And a 42 ring gauge, it's enough to feel like a real
Yeah,
cigar,
right.
but it's still a quick hit.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, since we spend a lot of time in previous shows and previous years talking about Nicaragua, talking about Dominican Republic, but we rarely ever spend time talking about the characteristics of Honduran tobacco as opposed to Nicaraguan Dominican.
Well, a lot
Based
of
on your vast experience, why don't you fill us in a little bit?
a lot of people presume, without knowing, that Honduran tobacco is going to taste very much like Nicaraguan tobacco because it's right over the river. It's right at the
Right.
border.
Mhm.
Where they grow, you can see Nicaraguan
Right.
fields
Right.
Yep.
from the Honduran fields.
Yeah.
Especially out in Trojes, where Raices has his farms.
Mm-hmm.
But they're really very different.
Yeah.
Honduran
Any
tobacco, and a lot of this has to do with soil composition, but Honduran tobacco tends to be, as Rob said, much earthier. It's also physically a robust leaf. Honduran tobacco tends to be thicker, and what that means is it's easier to work with.
Does that come from, why is that? Is it because of the seed, most of the seeds that are used? Is it because of the sunlight? Is it because of the soil?
It's the soil. Thicker leaves is mostly because of the soil.
They get a higher production from the leaves.
Well, they've been doing it a very long time there
yeah.
on commercial scale. I mean, there are countries that have been growing tobacco longer than Honduras.
Right.
But at commercial scale, there are not many countries that have been doing it longer than Honduras. And, there are different growing regions within Honduras that are very, very different than each other. In Nicaragua, you can make distinctions. You can tell when a tobacco is from Yalapa instead of from wherever, Matagalpa or
Yeah.
somewhere, one of the other growing regions. Honduras, they are dramatically different. So you get tobacco from Trojes, it tastes nothing like tobacco from Danley or from the areas near Danley.
Right.
There are older areas near the northern coast of Honduras that have very, very different tobacco. There's the Alancha stuff, which is different than anything.
Right.
That's the Honduran wrapper.
Years ago, you had a product called the swamp thing or whatever.
Well, it was from the Ecuadorian swamp. Yes.
Right.
Hoja de Pantano, which means leaf from the swamp.
Yeah.
That was not Honduras.
Oh,
That was
I
Nicaragua.
thought it was Honduran.
No, that was.
Did you ever have a cigar that was from Honduran?
I'm smoking one now.
Okay. No, I know.
No,
I mean,
in
smoking.
my lines?
Your lines.
No.
I think.
We used some Honduran tobacco mostly because I did a lot of trading with Nestor Plasencia, I would trade him wrappers for certain fillers that I wanted that he had.
Okay. I guess maybe we
Interesting.
can get to our final review. Scott, why don't you lead it off?
Man.
It hasn't. Oh, wow.
That was very impressive.
That was
He
real
was
good.
about to say it hasn't changed, and then it changed.
Yeah, I actually, well, no, it's back to that. I just got like a
Blast of butterscotch.
you know what? I think it was more toffee now than butterscotch.
Okay.
I mean, they're similar.
As you could tell the difference between toffee and butterscotch.
But the creaminess is
Amazing.
fantastic. It really is amazing. It really coats my tongue. Like Rob said, it's very silky. I do get a touch of that white pepper. This is a 9. This is great. I love this cigar.
It is.
Paul?
Well, I found that it changed a tiny bit, and the way that it changed is the pepper backed off, and although I wouldn't have thought it was possible, the cream got even creamier.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
The citrus note backed away too, but this is like drinking a creamy vanilla milkshake. It's so coaty and creamy, and it smokes cool. There's no bite at all to
No,
it.
nothing.
That's.
I give it a 9.5, and I'm not a Connecticut
Yeah,
guy.
you're not a Connecticut guy. Rob?
Interesting. I like this cigar.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh,
but I hear a but.
7.75.
No. It's Honduran. I'm not a fan of Honduran tobacco. I'm really not.
But I'm a fan of the cigar.
I do like the cigar. I prefer the Maduro over this. That's why I was,
I don't know how to. I
when
don't.
we were choosing to
what's the-
smoke, I wanted
what's
to
the-
I don't know how the
smoke.
Maduro could have a sweeter finish than this cigar.
What's
It
the
does.
composition of the Maduro? Do you know?
The Maduro,
wrappers.
if I'm not mistaken, the Blind Man's Bluff Maduro, it's a San Andres. Oh no, it's a, man.
It's been around too long.
Yeah, it's been around. I know it has Pennsylvania in it. It's made in Dominican Republic, and it is a Maduro. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's a Pennsylvania broadleaf.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, but I can double check for you.
It's very good. I like the Maduro better. I do like the cigar. Don't get me wrong, but I've smoked many of these. I give it an 8.5. 8.5.
Yikes.
There's nothing wrong with that score.
Well, I'm enjoying the sweet finish, the good burn. I love the price. Don't look to my right. This is an everyday cigar. I give it a 9.25.
Nice.
I mean, it's really good. What can I say? I love the sweet finish. I always like cigars with a sweet finish. Again, just want to remind everybody, set your DVRs. Don't forget, we're now off solid hour from 7 to 8 every Wednesday night on this channel or whatever satellite or cable you're watching. And right after this show will come our cigar outlet show, CigarTIME outlet show.
Save tons of money.
Yep. Till next week. Thanks for watching.
Ciao for now.
Bye for
Bye.
now.
Okay, guys.
Too short to smoke cheap.